Hello, I'm Alistair Greener, and I'm here at the Telegraph Studios, and today we're discussing the benefits to business of enterprise content management in the cloud. And I'm joined by David Jones from Highland, the creators of OnBase. Lovely to see you.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
First of all, tell me a little bit more in terms of, is OnBase really this new wonderful thing for my employer because I can work anywhere?
It could be, because obviously enterprise content management allows you to store, to manage and to access your content from anywhere you happen to be. But there's much more than that. The cloud has actually allowed a lot more organizations, smaller organizations, access to ECM because you can pay on a monthly basis. Whereas before ECM was a very expensive software buy, the cloud's just opened up that market and brought it to organizations that quite simply wouldn't have been able to afford it before.
So in terms of content management, what are the sort of problems businesses are having?
Well, think about your own individual filing and information management on your PC. You've got information that you store away, and I'm sure sometimes you have problems finding that information. Scale that out to 10 people, to 100 people, to the tens of thousands of employees that large enterprises have, and you start to see some of the challenges that ECM can actually help you with. But it's areas like that, it's areas like the scanning and capture of content and information from tens of thousands of documents. It's about remaining within the compliance rules and regulations that exist within the various industries. Those things are difficult, but get those things right, and you've got a major competitive advantage going on because your business is running so efficiently. And those are the areas that ECM and ECM in the cloud can help you with.
So we already have dozens of applications, thinking of Google Documents, we're thinking of Basecamp, SAP, Microsoft and things. What's special and different about OnBase?
Well, the ECM in the cloud market is a very complex, very confused and very crowded market. And it's really because there's a bit of a clash of cultures going on. You've got the ECM software vendors who've been there for years, and you've got the upstart cloud file sharing solutions that are out there. Neither one of them, unfortunately, is delivering exactly what the end user wants, though. From an ECM perspective, the end user's looking for the heavyweight ECM functionality, the ability, as I say, to scan and capture information from tens of thousands of documents, the ability to integrate that information to other key line of business applications. Those are the things that ECM does well, but cloud file shares don't. But they also like the cloudy aspect of what the file shares are providing. So things like being able to get up and running very quickly, being able to pay on a monthly basis, being able to access that content from pretty much any device. So what they're looking for is the ideal combination. So the ECM functionality in the cloud, and that's what the OnBase cloud delivers.
So let's say an organization decides they're going to work with you at OnBase. Talk me through the procedures, how that all works, because I presume you can get me up and running in, say, 20 minutes?
Well, we can get the technology up and running within maybe 20 minutes, let's say. But the technology is probably only about 10-15% of the overall solution. Every organization is different. They store content in a different way. They have different business processes. And what we would do is we'd come in and work with you to understand how those processes work, and then to map that into our software. And what you end up with is a solution that's built around an enterprise to try and automate those processes, to try and get access to that information much quicker, as opposed to the enterprise having to work around a piece of software.
Now this seems like a massive undertaking. Is this really applicable for all sizes of business?
Well, I think what's massive is the potential loss if you don't do this. Remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about internal communications and collaboration. We're talking about automatically capturing content from thousands of documents. We're talking about integrating that content to all of your other line of business applications. Getting that right is absolutely essential for organizations. And what's massive is the potential downside if you don't get that right.
Now, security is a huge concern for everybody. What assurances can you give that OnBase will keep their data protected and safe?
Well, security is a massive challenge for IT worldwide. We constantly strive to make sure that we at least meet all of the industry standard security techniques and methodologies that are out there. Beyond that, though, securing your data and stopping people getting into your systems is only actually part of the puzzle. In fact, 60% of organizations now feel that there's a bigger threat internally with people coming in and getting access to data that they shouldn't have from inside of the organization than from external forces. So what we do is we combine the external security with the ability to report on all of the internal access to your content. So things like who's downloaded documents, who's deleted documents, if indeed they're allowed to do that in the first place. So that combination of external security and proactive internal reporting allows an organization to be as secure as they possibly can be at all times.
Now, enterprise content management in the cloud seems to be here to stay. Where do you see it, say, in 2 to 5 years' time, and where do you see OnBase?
Well, I think we're starting to see the beginning of the next big thing, if you like. And for me, that's the increased adoption of cloud computing throughout the enterprise. The Harvard Business Review recently released some research that said 70% of large organizations now have at least one cloud application in use. And I think as that continues to grow and more applications within organizations are deployed in the cloud, that's where we'll really start to see the power of the cloud. And we're constantly striving to make sure that not only are we delivering the best ECM in the cloud solution that's in the market, but also that we can integrate to all of those other cloud-based applications and line of business applications that your organization is going to be using. And for me, a fully integrated portfolio of completely cloud-based applications running within an organization, that's the holy grail of IT, and that's the next big thing.
David Jones from Highland, thank you very much.
Thank you.